Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Happy Labor Day to everybody out there who is celebrating. And thank you so much to all of those who have served or are serving to keep us safe. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the Planet Earth Show. And we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of electric vehicles. I'm not here by myself. We have the star of our show who is somewhere in his motorhome. Let's find out. It's Mr. Roland.friedl. He's our expert and he's our host. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you again. It's Monday time. Monday time is time again.
Absolutely. So, Roland, where in the world are you today?
I am in the capital of Upper Austria. I just came to the capital, first of all, to see my mom. Secondly, to find a good spot so we can broadcast these two shows, this one and then the next one. So I'm at the capital. It's called Linz. Actually, it is the town where I have been born 59 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Do you go there regularly?
Well, because, my mom is in a residency, so always when I'm close by, yes, of course, I try to meet her and take her out for a walk or a coffee and a cake or whatever, yes.
Fantastic. Well, that's beautiful that you do that. So, Roland, before we get into electric vehicles, pros and cons, I'd love for you to share with our audience. We have new people joining all the time. What is the value that you can bring to people if people take the step to reach out, which we're always encouraging people, get out of your comfort zone. Roland's here. I'm here. Reach out and connect with us. Our contact information is here. Roland, tell us more about how you can help.
Well, From a business background, I started a consulting training, our staff development company almost a little bit more than 2.5 decades ago. So we train the sales force and the management, executive management from international companies all over the globe, actually all over the globe, except Australia. I've never been traveled to Australia, but I've been working all over the globe. So North America, South America, Middle East, Asia, Africa, and of course in Europe. That's what my main profession is, because my background is I was actually working in the corporate world quite a short time, had a very fast career in advertising. Then I was the youngest, member of board of director of a company, and I quit because I want to start my own businesses. And I made experiences in different industries. To be honest, some very successful, and to be also honest, two failed. And for me, it was not a failure. It was just a feedback. Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? And I'll learn where to focus. So I bring a lot of experience to my customers in different areas, in sales, in different industries, in management, in recruiting, in developing people. That's my main background. So I want to call it my main business. But besides this, I'm very engaged in environmental projects. So I'm the founder of a foundation based in Switzerland that's called Respect Mother Earth. So we do also this Earth Show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm very happy about this. And I started working with men some years ago, and because I found out that women have always an opportunity to share their thoughts and meet up. Men are not used to it, but men need men to talk. So I started men's platform, and I do a lot of men's stuff all over the globe. And of course, here in USA Global TV and Radio, I love every Monday doing the Mallorca show. After this show, the Mallorca show, since almost 2 years, where we have interesting topics. And every second week we do the Planet Earth show, and every other second week we do another very important show. It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And besides this, I run my own media concept, Roland Media, but just in German, where we have different channels on different topics like men's work, like environmental stuff, like sparing for leaders, business talk, stuff like that, but in German. That's what I'm doing. I guess I don't know if I forgot one. Maybe some people may think, my gosh, this is a lot of stuff. Yeah, it is, because I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, and I spend the whole day in learning new stuff, or experimenting, and because everything I teach or I train or I coach comes from not only from a theoretical background, from a management theory or sales theory, it comes also very strong from my personal experience in these different areas the last 45 years that I'm working.
That's a lot, Roland, and you certainly have made inroads in so many ways. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that could be a little controversial depending for how people's perception is. And we're here to provide education. That's what it is that we do. So what is your experience with electric vehicles? Have you ever owned one or operated one?
No, never did. I was driving them. Friends of mine have them. Especially businessmen, because here in Austria and Germany, you get an amazing discount as a company, and you get also, you're saving a lot of tax when your stuff and yourself and your stuff is driving electric vehicles. So it's pushed by the government. I don't do. I will explain later. But I want to say something in the beginning. This show is not finger pointing. It's just, I just want to share my daily experience, what I do on a daily basis to respect Mother Earth, or to protect Mother Earth. I would say respect Mother Earth, like my foundation, because Mother Earth can protect themselves. They don't need us. We need the planet, to be honest. So it's not about finger pointing. It's about what we do on a daily basis. And then the other thing is just to encourage people to do their own research and just start thinking, does it make sense or not? Maybe you remember, Dr. Jacalyn, we had this amazing show about the wind turbines with
Simon McDonald.
Yes, thanks. About wind turbines, and we found out it's not a good idea. It sounds good in the beginning, makes sense to use alternative energy, but at the end of the day, there's so much nature destroyed on land or offshore that you destroy more than you gain. And when you look at electric cars, I know it's very controversial. I mean, it comes more and more because the government pushes, this is this green ideology. I have to mention, I don't belong to any political party. I'm not a left, I'm not a right, I'm not a green, whatever color you want to give me. Not at all. I don't take care about anything of this stuff. I just have a focus on what is really good and what is bad for myself and for the environment. And we talk about electric cars. When they came out, it made sense. Yeah. In the beginning, it made sense. But the reason for electric car is what they try us to sell is because all other cars that are powered by gasoline or diesel, there's a lot of emission because you burn these fuels. Yes, that's true. That's an issue. That's absolutely true. So electric car looks cleaner or greener, whatever you want to call it, but only on the first side. That's the point with electric car. When you look on other aspects we can discuss later, it's not so green as it looks like. It's the same like with the wind turbines. It sounds reasonable to build them everywhere because you can use the wind just for free to produce electricity because we need more and more electricity. That's true, yes. But most people don't see how much nature is destroyed, how much forests are burned down to produce this. And the other thing is how to recycle this. And the same is with an electric car. So, but to answer your question, Dr. Jacalyn, I was driving them. When I was playing golf, this golf cars, they're also electric. And when I was a small kid, when we had this nice, how to call it, fairs, I was driving the small scooters, when you should bump around with other people. I was 6, 7 years old. Yeah. And yeah. But never had a real electric car or electric scooter or something like that. No, I don't know.
Thank you, Roland. And I've never had an electric vehicle, but I have had experience with electric golf carts, as you mentioned. And they are very quiet, which is really nice. But I know with the cars, the vehicles that have been manufactured in the most recent decade, I guess, that they also shut off when you're at a traffic light, for example. So then they become very quiet. But you mentioned that it sounds good. There are definitely positives as to why electric vehicles make sense. But then you're saying, from what I'm hearing, that there's another aspect of it that we really need to look at. What is that aspect?
Well, there are 2 points. First of all, it's this vehicles run on electricity means these vehicles have huge lithium batteries to store the energy so you can drive, so to store the electricity. And most people have no idea of how they are going to be produced. What are components of these lithium batteries? And these components there are many different minerals that are used, like lithium iron phosphate is LFP, or lithium nickel cobalt aluminum oxide is NCA, or lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide NMSi. So there are different minerals that are used that are essential for lithium batteries. So the question is, where is it coming from? And these companies are exploiting, how do you call it, exploiting? Totally different, most of the countries in Africa. And when you have a look at it, how it's produced, it's a lot of water is spent to get these minerals out, a lot of water. And when most people realize that in many parts of Africa, water is an issue. Most people don't have access to clean water. They don't have enough water to drink or to wash or whatever. So there's a lot of water wasted to wash this mineral. And secondly, when you look at these companies who the kids are working there, we see a lot of, how you call it, child work, people, minors who are working there. So kids, small kids are working in this mines because they're slow. It's easy to get into it. It's like 100 years ago, like slavery. That's a fact. People can Google it. You can, when you do your research, you find out how these minerals are harvested from the ground. It's most of it. It's kids' work. It's kids' work, and it's really bad what's going on. That's one point. So how to produce? So when you look at the ecological footprint to produce these batteries and the car, whatever it is, a car, an electric car, the ecological footprint is much larger than of a normal car that is powered by diesel or gasoline. So we know from the company Audi, a very famous German company, car producer, they say to have the equal footprint, you have to drive 300,000 kilometers. It's about almost 200,000 miles with a diesel car or gasoline car to have the same footprint. My question is, who runs a car for 200,000 miles? That's one point. So you're producing, you're producing more bad side effects by producing these electric cars than you're gaining afterwards. That's one point. So when you produce it, a lot of energy is spent, a lot of water is spent. Kids are working like slaves in these mines. There's another point. And the next thing is when you charge your car, where is this electricity coming from? So I don't know how it's in the US, but we here in Europe, you always have the discussion about blackouts. We don't have enough electricity. So imagine everybody is buying an electric car and everybody's coming home, I don't know, at 5, 6 p.m. after work, you want to charge your car, not working at all today, not working at all. There's not enough capacity to charge all cars. Secondly, where's the electricity coming from? From power plants that run by coal, mostly in Europe, or people are using diesel generators. It's enough emission. So tell me, what's the benefit of it? I would say that the pros for electric car is, if you give a shit on the environment, if you don't like the planet and nature, go for one. Yeah, that's the only reason to buy one, to be honest. And maybe it's trendy, it's woke, but when you really take care about the environment, when you have a deeper look of all the components, of all the impacts that it has to produce it and to run an electric car, there's a clear no.
Roland, wow, thanks for sharing all those details. Now, how does it compare to a gasoline-driven vehicle? So obviously there's pros and cons. Is the gasoline vehicle worse than the electric vehicle or vice versa?
So in the production, the electric vehicle is much worse than the normal vehicle. As I said, you have to drive 200,000 miles with your gasoline car to produce the same pollution that an electric car just in the production. Okay, so the production of electric car is much, much worse than a normal car. That's one thing. And the other point is recharging your electric car. Where is electricity coming from? How is it produced? That's the question. By wind turbines who are destroying the environment. We had the discussion a few weeks ago, or it's by coal, by power plants that run by coal. That's the question. Where's the electricity coming from? Is it really clear? Is it really green? Most of it, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Sorry, these are the facts.
No, I appreciate that. So you have shared before that you're able to, in many cases, in the course of your travels, to go by foot. So instead of driving somewhere, you'll walk somewhere, obviously, which is a great idea. And if people could incorporate that, embrace that more, I hardly drive at all because I'm on an island, so I'm able to pretty much walk anywhere I need to go. But that's not the case for everyone, right?
Yeah, of course, that's an issue. But I strongly believe, of course, driving a gasoline or a car driven by gasoline or powered by the diesel, of course, it's a problem. No doubt on that. No doubt on that. So it's not a good. It's not a good. It's not a good, how to say, to substitute it by electric car. Doesn't make sense at all. The best way for me is really just to think about, do I really need to drive this car? Can I go, I don't know, for example, I give you an example, Dr. If I would live in a city, for example, like I've been living many years ago in the capital of Austria, in Vienna, and I was living in the city, and I would work there as a medical doctor, as a lawyer or whatever, so I have my office there. I would never have been buying a car. I would take private transportation, and for vacation we fly anyway with an airplane, or sometimes to hire a rental car. If I would live in a city and work there, I would never ever buy a car. Never. It doesn't make sense for me, to be honest. But I don't do so. So so for some people who live outside of, I wouldn't say civilization, but outside of a city or village, of course they need a vehicle to bring their kids to school, to do shopping or go to work. Yeah, but most people in cities, they absolutely don't need a car. Absolutely not, because you have in all cities. I talk from Europe. In all cities, you have amazing public transportation here, and it's reasonable. And if you would need a car for the weekend, it's much cheaper to hire a rental car. And most people for vacation, they fly anywhere on the beach or whatever. So the question is, do we really need a car? Who needs a car? And do I really drive every meter or every mile, or can I walk or use a public transportation or whatever? That's the question.
Now, Roland, you do a lot of driving, right? Because you're traveling and you're living in your motorhome. So tell us about that. Is there any contradiction there, the fact that you are living and working from your motorhome?
Yeah, I'm living in a motorhome. I'm working in a motorhome. Of course, I use gasoline, yes, but not much. But most of the time I stand. I don't drive. Most of the time I stay. But I have a much smaller carbon footprint because I don't live in a house. To build a house, to heat a house, the electricity needs more energy, first of all. Secondly, we had these topics in other shows. I buy local food. So I don't buy food that is imported thousands of miles from other countries or even continents. So I buy local. This is all, my footprint is very low. I don't buy a lot of stuff. My computer I'm using, I bought it 2016, I guess. Yeah, 2016. So it's 7 years old. So it's still working. So my carbon footprint is very, very low. But of course, I live in a motorhome. I drive a motorhome, but most of the time I'm standing because I know I spend an average about $400 to $500 a month for gasoline, and it's quite expensive here. So we pay here between 160 and €2 for the liter. We have liters here, so I don't drive much, but I do driving. Yeah, but yeah, of course. Yeah. But I don't have any other carbon footprint.
And I believe also that you have some solar panels on your vehicles. That's still true?
Yeah, actually, the whole roof is full with solar panels. Yeah, to be independent from, or to be how to call it, self-sufficient. I have solar panels on my roof, so I can run my air conditioner if I need one. Most of the time, I don't have one. I don't put it on because I don't like it. But sometimes it's very, very hot. Just we had actually 2 weeks in July. It was hot. People was crying. I know climate change is very hot. Actually, we had a lot of rain in May here. In June, in July, we had 2 weeks rain, 2 weeks hot, well, just hot, 2 weeks summer, and in August we had a lot of rain. Now it's a little bit better. So I use solar panels, yes, to run my air condition, to run my heating system, to run, I don't know, my light, my fridge, to charge my computer and my smartphone. Yes, that's what I do.
Roland, how does it work with solar panels? I mean, I know you put them on the vehicle, but then how does it actually process so that you get that energy?
So you have solar panels on wherever you have it on the roof, and then you bring the energy that is produced. It's called a converter. I don't know how to say it in English. It's a solar converter. So in my garage, I have 2 solar converters because I have 8 solar panels. So it's 4 and 4. I have two how to call two systems. It's separated systems. So one breaks down, the other one is working. So I have 2 solar converters, and this converts the energy that's produced, electricity, into 12-volt. And I also have it's called a charger, how to call it? I don't know. In German, it's a Wechselrichter, where I can change from 12-volt to 230 for my coffee machine, for if I use it, for my charging my computer and stuff like that. Yeah, and the energy that's not used is stored in batteries. Yeah.
Thank you, Roland. Yeah, so I think you brought up a lot of really great points, and you mentioned before, and I think this is important to reiterate, is that this is not politically motivated. This is just to provide education and to prompt people to do their own research and make their own choice, correct?
Absolutely. As I said in the beginning, I'm not from the left or from the right or from the green or from the middle. Absolutely not. I always say this, I'm a free spirit. So some people, because just the days, some people criticize me, say you're against the left and the green. As I'm not against the left. If it would be the right, I would also say, hey, stop, this is not good. I don't care where somebody's coming from, which political party or which color or religion. I only look at the facts. I'm not only interested in facts. What are the facts? And the facts are different than some globalists want to sell us. And I made 2 posts on social media today, and I got some shit from by, not everybody likes you, but not everybody matters, as I said. And people just, getting information from newspapers or from TV, mainstream TV, from wherever. They don't have any research on by themselves. And because I was posting actually today that what was the post? Give me a second. What was the post? Just to bring it on accurate. It was 2. Actually, it was 2 of them. And first of all, green people. I don't mean green people. I mean the green people who do greenwashing. Green people don't care about nature. They only want to control it. And that's what's going on now. We have more and more taxes, more and more regulations. We have 40 cities now that came together in Europe. Vienna is one of it. Zurich is one of it. They want to they want restrictions in the cities. There's people living in the cities are not allowed to eat meat anymore, meat production down, not allowed to drive cars anymore, and they have to change their heating systems. And the question is, why? Who is making the money out of it? I always say, follow the money. And the other post was, green is a code that means you get less and the greedy globalists get more. And that's what I see. When you look at this climate change, there is climate change. For sure, the climate was always changing, thousands of millions this year, always was changing. The question is, what's the reason for it? And when I don't know if you heard it, but we had a lot of fires in summer here, a lot of fires in different countries, and we always have them every year. And then the mainstream media say, yeah, it's the climate change, it's so hot, there's a fire. And then a week later, and the newspapers are not writing anymore, is the police caught a lot of people who burned it down for different reasons. So yeah, for me, it's all about looking at the facts and not believing what people try to sell us, because they have how to say, they have an agenda. Yeah. So I don't believe everything I see. I just want to see my own stuff. And I saw outside of Vienna, there's a huge park, and I saw another one when I was in France, where there's a huge store pill. How do you call it? A store pill? I guess the English word is a store pill. A stand on stockpile. Where thousands and thousands of electric vehicles are standing and not used anymore because it's not working. In winter, it's too cold. They cannot run long distances. It's different to charge. Thousands and thousands of it. You cannot recycle them. Nobody knows what to do with the batteries. What are you doing with the batteries? It's poison stuff. What are you doing? What are you doing with a lithium battery when you don't use it anymore? So there are many questions that people don't consider in the beginning. As I said, it sounds good to drive an electric car because you don't see any emission coming out of the car. Yeah, but the question is how it's going to be produced and how do you recharge? Where is it coming from, the energy? That's the question. That's what I'm always questioning. Where is it coming from? How is it done? And have a deeper look and not believing everything that some greedy globalists want to sell us.
Roland, thanks for sharing that. So when you're posting what you're finding, you're posting on social media, how is it being received?
Well, controversial. But that's not, if somebody feels triggered, it's her or their trigger, not mine. Yeah. I would say do your own research. I never go on a discussion on social media. I post it and people are reacting or not reacting. I don't take care about it. I don't care. It's not my trigger. When somebody feels triggered, the question is why they are triggered. But sometimes I got how to say it? I got punished. Well, I don't see it as a punishment by social media. They tell me it's not true what I'm doing, or they shut me down for a week. Why
Censored?
Not? It's a social media detoxing, fasting. Why not? It's good. I don't need them. They need me more because they want to sell their advertising or whatever. I don't need them. They need me more. But I need the customers more. No.
So when we think about electric vehicles, you're going to give them thumbs down, 2 thumbs down?
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry for that. To be honest, I would love to. It thumbs up because there's no emission, but it's not, unfortunately. And to be honest, in the beginning, I also thought it's a good idea. I thought it's a good idea because, as I said before, I was driving them on the golf course, and I said, "Well, it's nice, you know. They're not noisy. There's no pollution. It's nice." I was thinking, "Hey, that's a cool idea." And to be honest, when I've been living on the island in Mallorca around 12 years ago, I was thinking maybe I should install more solar panels on the house and buy an electric car because I only have small distances on the island. Makes sense. To be honest, I was thinking about it, buying my next car, an electric car, just on the island because there's small distances. There's sun almost all the year on the island, you know. It makes sense. I was also said, okay, I go for one. I thought it's a good idea, to be honest. But then I did a lot of research. I was researching because 12 years ago, there was not so many products on the market. I did some research. I did some research on the batteries, how long they last. I did some research how they get produced. And when I saw how they get produced, I was shocked. And the second shock was when I found out you cannot recycle them. What's going on after 4 or 5 years with the batteries? It's poison stuff. And the other question is, okay, for me, it was no problem to use the sun with the solar panels to charge my car. But what do other people in northern countries? Where is electricity coming from? So again, I was not against it in the beginning. I said, hey, cool idea in the beginning. And I guess most people think it's a cool idea. But when you do your research, when you dig deeper, you find out, no, it's not. Absolutely not. So I was not against it from the beginning, to be honest.
I appreciate the fact that you've actually shared 2 different perspectives because it was something that you considered and then you looked into it and then you made a different decision. So you actually did the research, you put the work into it, as opposed to just saying, oh, that's what's in the news today. That's what I'm supposed to be doing today, because who knows, it could change tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. And to be honest, it was the same with the wind turbines. In the beginning, I said, okay, they don't look nice in the landscape. Nobody wants them in the neighborhood, but it's cool, you know. There's the wind, it's for free to produce electricity, no emission, nothing. in the beginning, I thought, cool idea. But again, I started research and I had the opportunity to see these wind parks, how to produce them. Really, they burn down the forest, they build huge streets that the amazing trucks can turn, tons and tons of iron in the ground, a lot of nature destroyed, and then these turbines, you cannot recycle them, they're toxic again, they change the climate, they dry out the soil with the wind, they kill thousands and thousands of birds. So in the beginning I said, nice idea too, but as with electrical, with everything, I always go deeper, and then I found out, oh, it's not good. And the same as with electric cars. I'm sorry.
Well, Roland, one of the things I really admire about what you do is it seems like you take the emotion out of it. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed with emotion that we don't even want to look at what the facts are. So you've been able to separate your emotion from the research that you're doing to come up with a decision.
Yeah, because I'm interested in facts, and as I said, I don't belong to any political party. I don't prefer any political party, nor the left nor the right. For me, it's all the same, to be honest. No, I'm absolutely not. That's why there's no emotion driven by that. Absolutely not. I just look at the facts, and as I said, when it looks good, and I have a deeper look at it. If it looks bad from the beginning, I said no, but if it looks good too, I have a deeper look. And even when somebody looks bad or something looks bad in the beginning, maybe with deeper research, I found out it makes sense. It's all about, my grandma says, you don't need, it's not a rocket science to start thinking. You don't have to be a professor. Just your, how do you say, keep your home mind, or how you call it. In German we say Hausverstand. Do some research and find out. And the thing is, when something is very pushed in our society, when something is pushed, very, very hard pushed in the society, then I always say, follow the money. Where it's coming from? Who has an interest in that something is pushed? That's the question.
So, Roland, a question I have before we wrap up for today is, what would have to happen, if anything, to change your educated, informed decision on electric cars?
If there would be another option to produce any kind of battery to store the energy, and without destroying nature, without exploiting kids and stuff like that, if there is an opportunity to do so, I'm open to it, of course, but not with the circumstances right now. But I think there are other alternative energies that we can use in the future. Maybe scientists find out something that's working, or maybe some of you will think I'm absolutely crazy, but I strongly believe that other creatures out in the universe, they already have access to other to other sources of energy, and maybe we're gonna have it in the future too.
Could be, and if we do, we'll be bringing information about it right here.
Absolutely, because I think we have, of course, as I said, we have to reduce emission. Of course, we have to reduce the consumptions of fuel, of gasoline and diesel. That's no doubt at all. Absolutely, but the question is, we have to do it the right way that absolutely works. Yeah, on a long term, and thinking about the consequence and the impact it has in the long term. Yeah, that's the point.
Absolutely. Roland, as we come to an end, what other types of topics, we'd love to hear from our audience if there's topics for planet Earth, but any topics that are resonating or standing out with you that you want to discuss on this program in the future?
Well, I guess we had a discussion about water. Maybe we should do more about water, different aspects of water, because water is such an important source here on the planet. We had a lot of discussion, I guess, on plastic, on wind turbines. Yeah, we had a discussion on food. We can go deeper on food, I guess, because food is something that everybody buys on a daily basis and consumes on a daily basis, and you can have an amazing impact on the environment how you choose your food wisely. We can do something on that. Yeah, we can have a discussion on is veganism rescuing the world or not? That's another question that some globalists want to tell us. Stay away from meat and go vegan, and you're going to save the planet. And I did a lot of research on that. That's absolutely not true. We can discuss on this, whatever you want. There are many, many topics. But as I said, I would love to invite our audience to discuss with us and say, okay, what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you doing on a daily basis that makes absolutely sense on an impact on planet Earth? And the other question is, where are you struggling? Where you need support, advice to make it, I wouldn't say better, to make it different.
Excellent. And Roland, I'd love to have you join Pet Psychic Amina and myself on coexistence and sustainability. That's one of our shows on Friday. I think it would be a really good conversation.
I would be very honored to take part of it.
Fantastic. All right, we've got a few minutes left, excuse me. And I think it's important. You do a lot of work with men, and there are a lot of men and women who are struggling. So if you could just talk a little bit about that before we close out, I think that'd be helpful.
Yes, because I guess it's also helping the planet, because most of the people in power are men. So, well, the reason I started men's work is, first of all, I'm a man too. I'm not changing my sex or something in the future. I'm born as a man. I will stay as a man. I will die as a man. That's one thing. Secondly, I did a lot of executive coaching with executives all over the globe. And I found out that most men are struggling with feeling themselves, really, get access to the emotions, name their emotions, express their emotions, and also having really good friends and male friends where they can share their thoughts, their emotions, their whatever, their doubts or whatever. So men need men to talk. That's what I found out, and for myself and for other men. That's why I started Sparing for Men, a platform actually 4 years ago. Yeah. So we have a US group that meets every first and third Saturday online on Zoom, and we have a German-speaking group that meets every first and third Wednesday online. And in these groups, what we do is actually we bring up a topic. Dr. Jacalyn, this topic like we had on Wild at Heart here in USA Global TV and Radio very successfully last year. So we just discussed topics. Or one of the brothers or men came up and said, I have an issue with my wife or with my kids or with my business partner, whatever, and this person wants to share it in the group and just wants us to listen and maybe give some advice on that. That's what I'm doing. I do a lot of men's work, and as I joined some brotherhood festivals and men's festival, I decided actually this year to bring up a German-speaking platform for men to educate themselves, because I met a lot of very good men coaches like myself, many others. It's coming up more and more in the German-speaking country, like Germany, and Austria, and Switzerland. So I started Roland Media, where I interview or have a conversation on different topics with specialists on men's work. That's what I'm doing, and I think it's a very important work. I strongly believe, as I said, women have the opportunity. They always express emotions and to talk to each other, but men never did, because we are all trained from our parents, maybe in school or military. Don't show emotions. Be strong. Don't cry. Don't be weak. Stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we find out if you suppress your negative emotions, you don't have any access anymore to your positive emotions, and so you don't have a joyful, fulfilled life. And I think that's why it's going the wrong direction. We have a lot of people who are depressed, a lot of people who have different addictions. They eat too much, they drink too much, or any other drug, or they are on pharmaceuticals, whatever. It's in the wrong direction, and so on. And we found out the last 4 years that when we open this men's circle and a man can express the first time their thoughts and their emotions, the healing process started. Actually, the healing process already started when they just join and they say that they don't say anything in the beginning. They just listen to other men and find, oh my God, I'm not the only man who is struggling with this or with that. I'm not the only one. So every other man has the same issues in their relationship, with their kids or their families or whatever. So the healing process already starts when men just join and just listen to other men and find out, oh, I'm not the only so-called loser. No, not at all. That's what I'm doing.
Quite a lot, Roland. How can people reach you?
The best is email me. If you want to get in contact with me, email me. Email address is office@roland.friedl.com. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. Get in contact with me, whatever you want to talk about it. You know, that's what I love here, to be honest, Dr. Jacalyn, on USA Global TV and Radio. It's all about caring and sharing and connect with other people. That's what we're doing. So feel free to connect with me. I'm more than happy to hear from you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And as we say every time, go and contact Roland. That's why he's here. Contact me. That's why I'm here. We love to hear from you. And I have to say, Roland, more and more people are reaching out. I'm getting people contacting me just because they've watched the show and now they have a story that they want to share. So I really do applaud people who get out of their comfort zone and do reach out, because we love to hear from you. We'd love to have you on our shows as well. So Roland, we're closing out today. The next show is coming up. So the Mallorca Connection. What can people expect today?
On American Connection, we're going to have a nice conversation about broadcasting while on the road. So when you work remotely, or like myself, living and working in a motorhome, how do you broadcast, producing podcasts or producing shows like this or hosting shows like this? We're going to talk about this because I found out that more and more people, as you said, Dr. Jacalyn, are interested in joining us. And some people are maybe working remotely. So let's talk about what you need. What tools you need, what technique you need, whatever stuff you need to make it happen. That's what I'm going to talk about in 20 minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, Roland. And thank you to each and every one of you who is out there watching on the live or on the replay. We do appreciate you. And again, we welcome you to join us. Go over to usaglobaltv.com, book your session. We'll be right back in just about 19 minutes. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.